Creators, how are you guys? It's great to hang out with you again for another Video Creators live stream, also podcast episode. If you are part of the podcast audience, we live stream these every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time at youtube.com/video creators. And we are just all about helping you grow your YouTube audience, build your business, spread your message. You can reach more people and change their lives with the message that you are spreading. So thank you for hanging out with us here today. Today we want to talk about a topic. It's a question we get asked a lot, and thankfully the answer is shorter than most people expect it to be. But it's like, how do I optimize my YouTube ads to make the most money? Are there certain ad formats I should enable? Certain ad formats I should disable? Does the length of the video matter? Terms like, how do I just, if I'm gonna make content and I'm trying to make money on YouTube's through their AdSense program, how do I make the most of that? So we're gonna talk about that today. But today's gonna be a little bit of a different episode because we are gonna be featuring a lot of different questions from a lot of different people who are channel members, are part of our channel at youtube.com/video creators. Those of you guys who have clicked that join button, you become a member at that collaboration level. You have access to be able to submit audio questions to me and to the team. And then when we do episodes like this, we get to sit down and answer them. And so we're talking about optimizing for YouTube's, for advertising, make the most money, but we're also going to be answering questions about how to effectively use the community tab to drive more views to your videos. And we're talking about how, like, if you gained a lot of momentum during all this Corona and COVID stuff and the shelter in place things, as you gain a lot of momentum, well, as the economy starts to open again and people get back to normal rhythms, and if your channel is slowing down, what can you do to maybe keep the momentum going post-COVID? We're also talking about different ways to test different titles and thumbnails and when you should do that and when you shouldn't do that. Talk about different software for managing copyright ownership on your YouTube channel. We're talking about how to double. Someone asked us, how do I double my channel growth with tips you've never shared before, Tim? Like, we've been trying a lot of things you've been saying, and so far we're not really seeing the growth that we want. Is there something else that you could share that would help us grow when we just feel stuck? So we're going to talk about all those things and a lot more here today. It's going to be a wild ride, but I'm really looking forward to diving into this with you guys here today. If you haven't met Delana and Lennon, they are both strategists, YouTube strategists here on our team at Video Creators. And it's been a little while since we've all hung out here together. It's good to see you guys again. I think all of us are in different places now than we were a few weeks ago, except for me. I'm still in the same place. But Delana, tell us your story. What's been going on with you guys lately?
I'm in a house. Woo! We're finally moved into our house. And this little background that you can barely see because I think it's dark, I set up about 5 minutes ago to make it somewhat presentable for this.
So you're still unpacking, still moving in, but congrats on the house.
Thank you. We're absolutely loving it. It's so much work, but it's awesome. It's fun work. Very labor intensive, but fun. Yeah.
What kind of work have you guys been doing? I know you've been like staining concrete and painting and what else?
Ripping up floors, lots of painting. This weekend we were moving all the stuff out of our old storage unit into our garage now. So that was a lot of fun, very hot. And then we also did a lot of painting. So yeah, that's what we're still working on right now. We have 2 more areas to paint and then we're done. Can't wait.
Nice. Yeah. And Lennon moved also unexpectedly. He did not plan to move. What happened, Lennon?
Well, I think it was Wednesday. I barely know what day it is right now, which is pretty amazing. I was finishing up work, and all of a sudden my wife's like, "Hey, did you let the dog out?" And I was like, "No, why?" She's like, "I think you peed on the floor." I was like, "I don't think so." And so we blame our 3-year-old. We're like, maybe she spilled something. And so then all of a sudden she opens the closet to our apartment. We're on the 1st floor. And so when she opened the closet door and there's like a tick, 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 like trickle sort of happening. And we're like, okay, that's not good. So I call the maintenance people and they're like, all right, well, we'll get somebody over there. They're on the roof right now working on something. We're like, okay. Next thing you know, that like starts to be like a dribble, and then it's coming down a little more. Then it's coming out of the vents. And so I'm like, hey, you guys need to send somebody like now. I think this is going to be worse for somebody else than it is for us if you're not careful. And about that time, like from the lamp fixture, it starts to waterfall down, and we're catching it in toy tubs. So we filled up like 4 of these monster toy tubs full of water. And at about the time that we're filling up the 4th one, I get a knock at the door, and I open the door, and somebody hands me a huge bouquet of flowers. And I was like, this is really either amazing or terrible timing. I'm not really sure. So they hand me these flowers. He's like, I've been looking for you all day. Turns out they're from my stepdad. And my mom's been passed for a few years, so he just sent them to the girls. But the timing was like that moment was the moment where we were like, okay, everything's okay. Everything's going to be all right. And we set them on the table, and then we were kind of just soaking up towels, twisting out towels, got a hotel room. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, do you guys have any questions? I was like, well, yeah, we've been thinking about moving. And she's like, yeah, okay, well, we'll have a talk about that tomorrow. So now they've upgraded us to the apartment that costs like $500 more a month for the same price. So we have an extra room. So I actually have an office now, which is great. And then we've got almost everything moved in, and it's just been a whirlwind. My brain and my body are just like completely fried. But it feels good to like almost be set. And so there's a ton more space. The girls are just already wreaking havoc. So it's awesome.
So the water damage was so significant that they had to move you out of the apartment in order to really fix it and to address it?
Yeah. So it's still like, there's still like tubes going into the ceiling. And so they do that and drill holes and stick tubes up there to get all the water out. So those are still in there. So they said it's about dry now. So we could have stayed, but we would still be in a hotel. And she's like, we can talk about this. I was like, yeah, we should talk about that. That's not...
Well, congratulations on the promotion to the corner office with a view now.
That's right. I can actually see trees out here now. We're on the 3rd floor, so it's nice.
Lennon posted in our team Slack channel a screenshot of how many steps and miles he walked yesterday. It was like 10 miles of walking. Yeah, and like 67 flights of stairs. So that's
I forgot. I'm not kidding. I forgot I posted that in Slack. That's how tired I've been. I totally forgot I said that.
Well, let's see how Lennon does with answering YouTube questions today.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I've been laughing at the chat here because Harley Pebbly said that's about the time you're happy you're renting.
Mm-hmm.
And then Maximalist Minibus said that's why I live in a bus.
Yep.
That's funny.
We are going to dive into this topic here together, but those of you guys who are here on the chat and the live stream, welcome to CHICKENLANDIA is our moderator here for today, Dahlia. So if you have questions as we go through all this, please feel free to ask your questions. Just tag her, and she knows how to put them in front of us. We have like this shared Google Doc that we use, and so she will copy and paste your questions and put them in front of us, as long as they're relevant and on topic. So if you got off-topic like questions that don't really pertain to the things we're talking about here today, and lucky for you, we're talking about a lot of different things. So likely your question will fall into one of these categories. But on-topic questions, please just tag her at Welcome to CHICKENLANDIA in the chat, so she's more likely to see it, and then she will put those questions in front of us. And we're going to get through the questions that people have submitted first of all. So we'll go through those, and then after that, then we're going to take some time and dive into your questions there at that point. Okay, so yes, tag her with those questions, and we'll answer as many of them as we can. Let's see here. How should I transition now to Creator Spotlight? Oh, I know. Okay, so it's going to be a fun story. So while Lennon is doing all of that transferring from like one apartment building to another, we quickly have to reassign all of his channel consultations for that day between, I guess you took them all, Delaney, right? You took all his sessions. I took some of his client stuff, meetings that he had that day, and we all formed together. We like linked arms to the team. We're gonna do this last minute and make it work, which was awesome. One of the people that Lennon worked with who was not in that situation The hard left turn. I don't know. I tried to make it work. It was this guy Todd Harris. This was Glennon did a session with him. I don't know, like 2 months ago or something. We have a long queue of these guys. So, tell us a little bit about Todd and your session with him, Lennon, from your old apartment.
Yeah, so those of you watching, you'll see my quarantine beard is in full effect for this one. But yes, and I want to say a huge thanks to the video creators team because oh my Lord, what a stress relief it was to know that everybody had taken on stuff. So you guys are freaking the best. But
And now Lennon knows it's possible. So he's like, tomorrow I think I'm done, guys.
So Todd does a thing where he called the parenting ninja, and a lot of times the things that he kept hearing from parents of the kids that he was working with was like, you're like a stinking ninja, like you just come in and really help us like dealing with these kids. So what's cool is sometimes people will come to us and they'll not have even started a channel, and that's exactly the situation here. And so we went through and optimized a lot of content strategy and a lot of planning for him before he even jumped the gun on his first videos. And I think it turned out really great. He was a lot of fun to talk to. So let's just let him take over.
Yeah, let me introduce you guys to Todd. Here they go.
Todd, why don't you tell everybody where you're at with your channel and kind of what you came in looking for and what your biggest takeaway was?
You know, I know what YouTube is, and I watch videos on YouTube, but I don't understand how to really use it for what I want to grow, which is a parenting brand. I mean, I know you can throw videos on a channel, but there's got to be a strategy around that, and if you wanted to do anything. And I had no idea on how all that worked.
Yeah, and this is like you have 0 videos so far, right?
0. I have 0 videos. Well, I have 0 on YouTube. I've got a videographer that's made some, but I've just realized, wow, we've made too many videos. We had no idea what we were doing. We got to go back to square one.
Yeah, so what do you feel like you're most excited to go give a shot at here now that you understand some of these things and you're going to have to trash a bunch of work?
Well, it's about a strategy. It's not about making the video. It's about how much time you put into before you made the video. You know, what's your title? What's your thumbnail look like? What's the follow-up videos you might put into the playlist that can bounce off this one video? Answer one topic, answer one question in this video. Don't answer 12 things. And then you can put them all in this playlist. And, and maybe inside of some of your playlists, I think you said it was distribution, community, sales, like being mindful.
Discoverable, yeah.
Discoverable, community, and sales. Making sure, everything's not sales. It's give, ask. And so those are some of my big takeaways is really it's the video piece for me is the easy part. Like I can talk all day, but it's the strategy before you get to that point that makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for those of the people that are watching that are starting a channel and maybe they're the same as you, like, what do you feel like is the thing that you're going to have to, that you're the most like, okay, I got to talk to my editor about this thing. What do you feel like his takeaway might be for today?
Why didn't you do this call earlier? That's the first thing you're going to ask me is, why didn't we do this 2 or 3 weeks ago when I was supposed to? I think I'm lucky. I've got an editor that loves to learn. Like if I come back and go, I didn't like that video, have a caveman pop up here and have this pop up here, he'll be like, oh yeah. So I'm lucky that I got a guy who's not like, I can't believe. He'll be stoked to learn something. I think his biggest thing will be, I told you we need to have more strategy, because he's not a video editor. He went to school to make small films. So he's all about the planning. Yeah. And my work style is planning. I don't even have an outline when I go talk. I just talk because this is what I know. And so it'll be for him, it'll be good because we get to mesh both worlds. We get to plan a little bit, but I get to still be off the cuff, because when I'm not off the cuff speaking, I'm reading a bullet point. So he'll get to be part of his world, and it'll help him.
That's cool. Yeah. So for those of you guys that are listening and watching and you're just getting started on this thing, like what I love about talking to people in this situation is that hopefully, like when you walked out of this, Todd, it's like you actually feel excited because there's a little bit of freedom. It's like I don't have to keyword stuff everything. I don't have to know everything. I just got to have a solid plan and I know who I'm talking to here, right?
Well, the biggest thing you said to me was speak from your heart. One of the things we talked about is speak what you're good about, but speak from your heart. It's end of the day, it is about monetizing stuff. But if you go into making about monetizing stuff, everybody's going to know that. Like, I mean, you sort of hinted at that. You didn't come out and say that, but you hinted at that, right? Just do what you do best, and everything else falls in line.
Yeah.
That was probably a very subtle, strong takeaway that I got.
Cool. I love it, Todd. And I certainly appreciate you, letting us jump into your channel because it's something we don't take lightly, and serving creators is what we're here to do. So thanks guys for listening. Please, when you can, be on the lookout for the Parenting Ninja, which is Todd here. Brilliant guy and great businessman and really values his family and wants to serve people in that way. And I'm so excited to see what you do, Todd. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
If you guys would like to get into a one-on-one session with any of us, Lennon, Delina, or myself, we would love to sit down, talk through your channel, what your goals are, and help you put together a plan, some ideas of how you're going to move forward and reach those goals with your channel, whether it be to get more views or to get more subscribers or to grow your business with this thing or to like whatever it is. Like those are the most common things. It's like how to make more money, get more views, more subscribers. But whether it's like someone's like, I just want to land an acting deal in Hollywood versus I want to get like I need to do this book deal, but I can't do the book writing gig until I have a certain number of followers. Like whatever it is, like we love hearing what your goals are and then sitting down with you for an hour and helping you craft a plan, a strategy for how to get there. So you can go to videocreators.com/consulting, sign up for a 1 hour session with us, and we would love to dive in with you there. Okay, I feel like that was it. a little rusty. Like we missed a week from doing this because we had our OKR meeting, and then I've been streaming with other people since you guys have been moving and ready to dive in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
These questions that we're about to hear from creators who are channel members at Video Creators, at youtube.com/video creators. That means that they've gone to our YouTube channel, they click that join button. There's a couple different tiers of that you can join under, and there's one tier there called collaboration tier where people join for a bunch of different access to different trainings and different perks. But one of the perks that goes along with that is access where you get a private link that you can use to send us audio recordings of your questions, and then we save those and do episodes like this. And so what we're going to do here is I'm going to introduce you guys to a lot of different people who are supporting video creators at on the collaboration level or higher as channel members. And so the way this is going to work is I'm going to play a little audio clip of them asking their question, and then we're going to dive in. We've got 7 of them here, I believe, and we're going to go through all these questions, and then for those of you guys who are listening to the live stream, we're going to jump in and answer your questions that are follow-ups to these other people's questions. Okay, so this first question is from Paul Robson, and here's what he has to ask.
Hi, Tim. I have a channel called Rolling the Robsons, and when we first started, we may have obtained subscribers, maybe not the best way, being honest. We also have a lot of subscribers from me being a teacher, and I think students think they're helping by subscribing to the channel even when really they're not. Is it possible now to recover from the fact that we have over 1,000 subscribers, but only, let's say, 200 people watch videos, or 200 views on the average video, maybe slightly less than actually? Or should we just kind of cut our losses and start the channel again with a different name and then slowly transfer that content along? Because obviously then YouTube will see that we don't have many subscribers, but lots of people will watch our videos and take on board what we do. Thanks, Tim, or whoever gets us. Bye for now.
We are the ones who get that. Excuse me. we are the ones who get that, and we're excited to dive in. So, Len and Delaney, what comes to mind for you guys? You grow a channel through non-organic methods, whether it be, it sounded like he was paying for subscribers, and now the channel just like, no one's really watching, no one's really engaged, they're all kind of just dead subs, and he's having a hard time getting momentum now. So should he start with a new channel, or can he still resurrect this one and make it grow, or what would be the next step after that, you guys think?
I personally think that it's definitely still small enough that there's not a big concern. You know, it's kind of like, where do you feel like you want to put your effort? You know, just to like squash a myth that I feel like we have to squash all the time in consultations is your channel as a whole is not getting punished. The reason that a channel as a whole gets more views is because you have more subscribers that are watching, right? So if you have more subscribers that are watching, that's just giving YouTube more data to say, this is the person we need to surface this video to. So each video is treated on its own individual merit and basis. And so don't feel like just because a channel is stagnant or things like that, that it can't be revitalized or completely rejuvenated or renewed. I got all pastoral there. I had all 3 R's in a row. So, you know, you can do any of that just by having the right video take off. And so for him, I would say just keep going, keep plugging. Yeah.
Yeah, I would encourage you, Paul, that it's pretty normal. You know, we've worked with a lot of creators who felt like the right way, you know, starting off is to pay, whether that's paying for subscribers or paying, you know, for YouTube ads or whatever it may be. There's so many different routes. And we see all the time and we help them turn their channel over, you know. And I think what gets deflating about this is you kind of get like this boost because you're like, oh, okay, so I'm getting these subscribers or whatever route you went down, and now I feel good, but it just doesn't, you start to kind of get deflated because it doesn't feel sustainable. It's like either I keep going in this direction or to keep this feeling up and my perceived momentum in a way, or I can stop doing it, and then you get deflated because the numbers aren't going up the way that they were before. And so I think what's really important here is to like just give yourself permission to like be okay with this awkward turnover that your channel is going to experience in this time, where now you're actually getting back to like ground level of like, maybe this is how your content would have performed beforehand. And I mean, I don't know what the situation or what exactly you paid for, but maybe this is how your videos would have performed beforehand, and you just kind of have to readjust to what the normal is now and continue to build from there and start, as you get those organic viewers, to pay attention to how they're responding or not responding to the content and then making adjustments accordingly. But it is totally doable to turn it around. I don't think you need to start a new channel.
I think what this question comes from is like, oh, I angered the algorithm gods, and now I can't turn it around, or it's going to be a lot of extra effort to turn around. And it doesn't, thankfully, the algorithms don't really work that way. It's not like, oh, you trained us to think this one thing about your channel, and now you're going to have a really hard time convincing us otherwise. They actually look at every single video separately, individually, from every other video. So every new video you publish, there's nothing being... there's nothing holding that video back from any other video on your channel. So every video, like YouTube's not looking at your channel being like, oh, you usually perform like this, so we're going to just keep you at this level. It's usually like my skill level is at a point right now that I make videos that attract about this number of views. And so when people say like, oh, I started publishing daily and my channel grew, what normally is happening is not that the algorithm favors daily content, But it's like these people learned how to communicate better and how to make better content and how to tell better stories. And they learned better what their audience wants. And you can learn those lessons a lot faster if you're doing one video a day versus one video a week or a month, you know? So if you're doing one video a month, that's 12 videos a year. They'll do that in less than 2 weeks and be way ahead, right? Because of the lessons that they're learning. So Paul, yeah, like I said, you're not stuck. The algorithm's not holding anything against you. It's the skills. And I looked at your channel a little bit actually before this, and it's like the branding and the story and the value wasn't very clear, things like that. That's the stuff that's holding you back primarily. We have 3 questions now from Richard, and for context, so if you guys are on the live stream, you're going to see some visuals of Tony Robbins' channel, and that's because in a future question from him, not this first one, but you'll find out that the channel that he's talking about, the context here is he manages Tony Robbins' channel. And so his questions here about how to make the most money possible on YouTube ads and things like that are from that channel. So let's go to Richard's question.
Hey, Tim, thank you for taking this question. I manage a YouTube channel for my employer, and I am going back through all the videos, getting any copyright claims cleaned up, doing my end screens, my cards. And one of the questions I have is with regards to monetization. So my original thought is to select all the different capabilities to monetize a video, either a banner or a pre-roll, a skippable, and kind of let YouTube actually make the decision as to what is best, because their interest is also to make the most money. But here's the question. If I am interested in maximizing the income, should I only choose video? Also only choose skippable versus non-skippable? Should I choose everything and let YouTube handle that? What is your advice as to which different streams monetization should I use on YouTube versus allowing them to choose, versus is it based on the video length? Shorter videos, I should have the banner ads. Longer videos, I should only select video ads. What is your feedback on there? Thanks again. Appreciate it. Take care.
Yeah, good question. So when you have all these different ways you can monetize on YouTube, all these different ad formats and all of these different options, which ad format should you select? Is there a way to kind of figure out how to coerce YouTube to give you more money in different ways? I'll just answer this one real quick. No, there's not. The best thing to do is just leave all, if you want to maximize revenue, is leave all of the options enabled, and then like you mentioned in your question, like YouTube's goal is to maximize revenue as well. So give them all the options they have at their disposal and let them select the best ad format for the best viewer for the content that's being displayed on, because there's a lot of variables that go into monetization. It's not as simple as like every time someone clicks play, they see an ad. And that's why you'll see in your analytics, there's a difference between how many views you're getting and versus how many monetized playbacks that you're getting, because not every view is monetized. It's like if someone just saw an ad maybe 90 seconds ago on a previous video, then they're probably less likely to see an ad that quickly already on your content. But there's other variables too that could maybe counteract that, such as like every viewer has a different tolerance for ads. So maybe like Lennon just never skips ads, and so YouTube's like, all right, we keep more ads in front of him, versus Delana has like, they notice if we surface too many ads for Delana, she's gone, she leaves YouTube, right? So different viewers have different tolerances, different genres, different videos themselves have different tolerance for ads. So there's a lot of things going on here, and it's not as straightforward as just like there's, oh, uncheck that ad format because it pays the least amount of money. That's what some people do. They're like, oh, my CPM on this is really low versus that, I want to get more of that, so let's disable this one. It doesn't work that way. It's like really all you're doing is you might as well have taken the amount of money that little or smaller ad format was giving you, because you wouldn't have gotten anything then. It's not like they would have shown a different ad format in its place. Now, one thing to keep in mind that's brand new, I think it just started rolling out last week, is 2 different things about ad revenue on YouTube. One is there's a new metric out called RPM, And most people think of CPM as like how much money they're making per 1,000 views. That is not correct. CPM is how much money the advertisers are paying to be on your videos, which is a good metric to see because it tells you, it indicates maybe how valuable your videos are to advertisers, but it doesn't mean how much, that's not how much money you're making, because one, you have alternative monetization products on YouTube, like channel memberships, super chats, super stickers. You've got, I'm drawing a blank on all of them, but there's like, yeah, a lot of different ways you can monetize there. And it's also not, the CPM is not accurate because the YouTube is taking a cut of that CPM. So whatever that percentage is for you, typically it's like a 45% revenue goes to YouTube, 55 goes to creator, but it does vary on different circumstances. So RPM is the actual amount of revenue that you're making per 1,000 views through your YouTube channel. And that includes all of the different monetization options, such as includes advertising. It includes channel memberships, includes super chats and super stickers and everything. All those things are now rolled up into one number. And you can see on average per 1,000 views I get on my YouTube channel, this is how much money that my channel is generating. So that metric is rolling out or has rolled out. I'm not sure if everyone has access to it, but I know it's on the way out to everyone. You can see that on the monetization tab on your channel. The second thing that's now different relating to how do I optimize ads for my YouTube channel is that YouTube recently changed their minimum requirements for mid-roll ads on YouTube. So it used to be you needed to have a video that was a minimum of 10 minutes long, and then you could insert a mid-roll ad somewhere in the content where it makes sense. And YouTube would sometimes like automate that, try to figure out like the most natural break in your content and insert an ad there. But now they've reduced that time. So instead of it being 10 minutes, now it's only 8 minutes. So any video that is 8 minutes or over now has the option to show mid-roll ads. So the question a lot of creators ask then is like, well, how do I enable this? And one, you're automatically enrolled into it. So if you have a partnered channel and you have videos that are 8 minutes or longer, YouTube will automatically just start putting mid-rolls in there. There's nothing you need to do. If you want to opt out of that for whatever reason, then you can go to the monetization tab in your Creator Studio, and there's a notice right there that has more information about this, and you can opt out of that there pretty easily. But there's nothing you need to do, no changes. Like YouTube's automatically enrolled you in that. And what this tells me, like what does this mean for us as creators? It tells me that viewers are getting more tolerant of ads, because YouTube doesn't make choices like this haphazardly, off the cuff, randomly. All of these are very intentional, very strategic, with lots of testing and data and experiments. And then they'll try a small experiments and start rolling it out. So the fact that they're making this one public across everyone's channel, I think is a pretty clear indication that people are getting more and more used to ads and more tolerant of ads. And so I think it is a indicator that there will be more revenue potentially coming for creators, as well as more inventory for YouTube to now sell. So it'll be interesting to see how this works going forward, but those are the two biggest changes we have on that right now. Do either of you two, Leonard or Delana, have anything you want to add to that discussion? Or did I nail it? Did I just nailed it?
You
Boom.
just totally nailed it. You said what I was going to say at the very beginning of what you said.
So you're saying I should have let you go first. You're like, let me go first.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. All right, cool.
No.
Richard has a second question. Let's go to that one.
Hey, Tim, this is Richard. Thanks again for taking questions. My current cadence is to upload a video, then several days later, create a post in the community section. My thinking is for those who might have missed the notification that they received from YouTube, being that they could be subscribed to hundreds of channels, this might give them another opportunity to see that video. So my question is, has anybody ran any metrics on this as to if it's more beneficial to do it that way, or the thinking of upload a video and do a community post at the same time, so it's more likely that somebody will see the video, be reminded of it in the community post, and be more likely to click on it. Thanks a lot, Tim. Really appreciate your help.
Yeah. So how do we use the community tab? It's like a really cool tool for anyone who doesn't know what it is. You go to your channel. What do you need? 10,000 subs? Is that still the minimum eligibility requirements? It used to be 10,000.
Community?
Yeah. For the community tab, did they lower it?
No, it's just
1,000, I think.
Yeah.
1,000?
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have the community tab, if you click on it on your channel, that's where you can basically post photos, post polls, you can post status updates. You can also highlight other people's videos or your own videos there if you'd like. And so it's a good way of keeping people up to date without having to publish another video. It'll show up right on the home feed for subscribers and people who follow your channel. So even if they're not subscribed, but they're an active viewer, for example. And that will, especially on mobile for sure, and even on desktop too, I see it there as well. So if you just want to post photos and things, you can keep your viewers engaged without having to publish a video. So Lennon or Delino, his question is when I first publish a video, should I share the video immediately to that community tab, or is it better to wait a few days and then publish it and share it there in order to try to pick up some people who might have missed it the first time around? What would you say? And then I have a few different just kind of ideas for how people can better utilize the community tab as well. But what do you think?
Honestly, my initial thought to this is I was like, I wouldn't overthink it. I just kind of, I do feel that within the first couple of days, YouTube kind of pushes the content a little bit more to on browse features and stuff like that to your subscribers and people who typically watch your content. So if I had to say, I would say wait a couple days and then maybe post about it so that you get a little bit more, I guess, a little bit more of a push. But I wouldn't put too much weight on it, essentially that's my initial response to that.
Yeah, and what I'm thinking about here is I'm just trying to think of what's the intention of the community tab, what's the intention of the viewer. And so the first thing I think of is you're building a culture here. If you want somebody to interact with your content, then you need to give them an easy win for interaction. And so your community tab shouldn't just be a bulletin board for your content. It needs to be an actual community tab and an opportunity for them to engage with you directly. And I would say if you're doing that 90% of the time and just engaging and offering some sort of opportunity for them to connect deeper with you, and then the other 10% is more about oh, now don't forget to watch this video, they're way more likely to actually look at that and click on it. Otherwise, I don't think that there's a ton of value in the community tab unless you're actually treating it with the intent that it was supposed to have.
Yeah, that's well said. I totally agree. Let me say it this way. I've never heard anyone say, you know what, Tim, the reason my channel blew up, I got tons of videos, is because I published a video to the community tab at the exact same time I published a video. That was the secret sauce. No one's ever said that. I think most people use it the way Delana and Lennon are suggesting, which is use it for actual community development. Yes, you can use it to resurface older content that maybe newer subscribers missed, then it's still really good and valuable for them. It's a good opportunity to maybe post photos, continue to have that touch point with them. I know a lot of creators who just kind of cross-post their Instagram stuff to YouTube stories or to their community tab. I think it's a good opportunity to run polls and get engagement because those are really easy for people to just quickly engage with you, and you can say top of mind. You can ask them questions there, hey, what do you guys think? Should I do this or should I do that? You can tease upcoming videos. You don't have to publish it. Use it only to promote content that's already been published. You can build some momentum for videos before they're published. So when people do finally see that video is published, you get a little bit more momentum out of the gate than maybe you otherwise would have. We've seen this work best when people use a GIF of some kind. They'll take they'll make a short clip of the video, turn it into a GIF image. That's what happens there? Because that's all, most, as you guys know, in the YouTube page unless you're hovering your mouse or scrolling past it on the app and hesitate for a second. By default, everything is just static. Like there's no motion to it. But GIFs automatically have motion to it. So while they're scrolling, that motion is already there and it catches their eye. And so we found that promoting upcoming videos or even past videos with an animated GIF tends to get a lot more traction than just posting a static video there. That's pretty easy to scroll right past and not notice. So use the community tab, but I don't think it matters. I think what we're saying is it doesn't matter if you do it right away. We would just hold on to that video, maybe share it there later. But the goal there isn't just promotion, it's engagement. And that's what makes the community tab work the best in terms of promotion in the long run. Those of you guys who are asking questions, you got a lot of good ones coming in about ads and ad formats and ad rates and all that. We will do our best to jump into them here in a second. But any of these topics we're talking about here are free game. Like you got them, just post them in the chat and tag welcome to CHICKENLANDIA. Welcome to CHICKENLANDIA at tag her, and she will put those questions in front of us. Here's a third and final question from Richard.
One more question, Tim, if you have time. This is Richard Getz again. I work for Tony Robbins, TonyRobbins.com, and he has a large video library. However, there's a lot of his videos that get pirated. Currently, we are using this company that was brought in before I got here that goes out, puts copyright claims on, which we would then get the revenue from the ad plays, and we would split it with this company 50-50. Obviously, I don't want to do that. I want to get all the videos on our own channel, get rid of them from the other channels. That way we can keep people in our own ecosystem, period. With that said, is there any software out there that will help me determine what videos are out there that are being pirated that I currently do not have on my channel?
Good question. So I'm going to go through this one really quick because I don't know if this pertains to a lot of different people, but there's two different tools and they're both in with YouTube. One is in your Creator Studio. If you're in the partner program, you have what's called the copyright tool. And you can just see that right in the left sidebar of your YouTube Creator Studio. And in there, you can see all the other videos that have matches against your content you have on your channel. Typically videos you've uploaded first because it is your original content. So you published it first. Other people ripped it off and took it. There's also another tool if you have a lot of the stuff happening, which sounds like you guys might be eligible for, is the Content ID tool. And that is far more advanced and has a lot more features, and you can levy heavier penalties and things like that through that tool. So it's not, you have to apply for it and get approved for access to it. But the problem, Richard, is that neither one of those tools actually solve the problem, which is what you're asking, which is like those tools work because you've uploaded the asset or the reference file, technically is what it's called. You've uploaded the reference file to your channel first, and then YouTube knows to find, like whenever this video, that gets uploaded to another channel that matches this reference file, then we're going to flag it based on whatever policy you set, which the policy could be either be like just track the data, but leave everything else alone. It could be it could be like monetize this so we get a split of the revenue from it, or you could block it from even going public on YouTube in the first place. So, and there's some other different things too, but that's only available in Content ID. If you don't have the reference file uploaded first, then there's not a whole lot you can do other than have someone just do a lot of Google searches, and because I'm assuming you're talking about people at a Tony Robbins event recording stuff on their cell phone, uploading it to YouTube, and they shot it, so they didn't steal a video from you, and there's no way for you to have taken their cell phone footage and put it on your channel prior to them uploading it. But the content that's being bootlegged is copyrighted. So you're gonna have to submit those individually, is my understanding. Unless Len and Delana, I think actually Delana went through the copyright training more recently than I have from YouTube. But is that your understanding too? Like they're going to have to manually find that, submit a copyright claim against it, each one manually. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's correct.
She is more recently certified than me, so. And Lennon too, right? Like, did you finish it or no? Did you go through that one already?
I didn't do the copyright one yet, no,
Oh, okay.
but it is on my list.
Yeah, I haven't. It's been a long time since I've done it, but cool. So that hits that one. Now we got a couple more questions from channel members, and then we'll jump into the questions you guys here in the chat are asking about these topics. This one is from James Black. Here's his question.
Hey, Tim and team. I hope you guys are all doing well. When shelter in place hit, I saw a really big rise in my YouTube channel from both analytics, views, watch time. Everything went up, and it's been performing really well. Now that the country is opening up and people are able to go out and do things and go to work, I want to know, how can I best use this analytic data to continue this growth as we move forward when everybody's not sitting around just watching YouTube?
Yeah, good question. So I know a lot of channels are really growing very well, especially if you have like a gardening or a chickens channel. Homesteading stuff is blowing up. Homeschool stuff is blowing up. How to cut your hair stuff is doing really well. So
work out at home.
Yeah. So what if you have you're getting a lot of traction on your channel during this season, and hopefully it's only a season. Hopefully it doesn't become the new normal people are talking about. But what should you do to maintain that momentum based on especially the data that you collected from the analytics from when things were booming, doing really well? What advice do you guys have for James?
Well, I mean, if I were thinking about this, and I'm sure we will be with clients, right, is because I've been hearing a lot of people talking about that, as you said. The first thing I would do is think of this as a win in that you're getting more data than you usually would. And so what I would be looking at is, what are the things within your video that are replicatable? So when you see within your data, your audience retention graphs or any of those things where you're like, okay, these are the ones that are performing best, or this is where I'm keeping somebody's attention, those kinds of things. I'd be analyzing that stuff first to be seeing okay, how can I replicate these ideas and these sort of tactics? So what does that look like practically? It may be the way that you're telling a story. It may be how you're hooking the audience. It may be as simple or complex, depending on how you want to put it, as your title and thumbnail, and looking at your click-through rates. Really you're just getting an opportunity for more data. The other thing I'm thinking of is depending on what your channel's all about, if your channel's all about something that primarily deals with somebody being at home, like at-home workouts, you're probably just going to see a decline. And I think that's normal. Then it comes down to more marketing than it does YouTube. It's more well, what are the benefits of continuing to do something this way? How can I maybe pivot a little bit to make sure that I'm still offering the same value proposition in a different way, right? That now aligns with their new normal or their new lifestyle. And that just comes down to really knowing your audience and what they're all about.
Cool. I have nothing to add to that. That was good. Thanks, Lennon. And let's see, we got a question here from Dahlia, who's actually our moderator today. This is welcome to Chickenlandia. So here's her question. We better do a good job on this one, guys. Here we go. No pressure.
Hi, Tim. It's Dahlia from Welcome to Chickenlandia. I know generally we're told that if a video isn't doing well after a few days, we should consider changing the title and the thumbnail. But on my channel, many of my videos don't start gaining momentum until months after I post them. So should I wait to test new titles and thumbs?
Yeah, that's a good question because a lot of people experiment with the titles and thumbnails immediately. First couple hours, first few days for sure. What would you guys say she should consider in her situation?
I think it's totally fine for you to make changes, later. And since I know Dahlia we have a closer relationship, I have done a couple of consultations with her one-on-one. And so I think that whenever your channel is you don't have as many subscribers engaging with it right off the bat, and YouTube isn't collecting all that data, it's pretty natural for that content, especially for your kind of content, to like, she's more in the homesteading niche, to take a little bit of time to find the right viewer. That can just happen sometimes. And if your channel is still in that place, I think that's okay. To me, it kind of sounds like a title and thumbnail thing from the beginning. Yeah, you can experiment it right off the bat, but I would wait until it finds the right viewer. This is what I'm trying to get to. I would wait until it at least has time to try to find the right viewer first, and then make adjustments from there with the, following that you have and stuff like that, because you want to at least give it time, especially as a smaller channel. You want to at least give it time to find an audience. And if it's having a hard time finding that audience, that's whenever it's time to make those adjustments. So I think if it takes a few weeks or even a couple months, and you're like, okay, now I'm going to change it, then I think that's totally fine.
Yeah, you got opportunity too to like to use that data for the next video moving forward. I've been seeing this a lot where everybody's really focused on that one video. And I think what we've been trying to do, even as a team, I think Tim would attest to this, is like, okay, what did we learn from the last one that we published, and how can we improve on that later? And the more videos that we even do and plan as a team, I feel like we're getting better at those ideas also, because this is kind of a newly implemented thing within video creators, all of us sort of brainstorming ideas. So I would say the same thing, Dahlia, like each one, if it's a miss, give it that time, and then use that data to go for the next one and see what you can improve.
Cool.
And on top of that, like, don't forget to utilize your analytics from all the content that you've already made, and pick out, similar thumbnails. Like, if I have a chicken that's like a big focus in the thumbnail, does that typically perform better than if I just have my face in it, or something like that, and finding some of those themes. And then as you go into creating your next thumbnail, you can have a little bit more confidence that, okay, I just need to give this time, rather than you feel like you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall every time, Yeah.
Yep. Perfect. We got one more question here that we're going to dive into, you guys who are here on the live stream. And this question is from Rochelle. Here she is.
Hello, Tim. My name is Rochelle Rosenberg, and I want you to teach me how to double my subscribers and how to earn more. Aside from all the tips that you have shared, I have TubeBuddy, I have thumbnail fixed, I have description fixed, and so on. And by the way, my channel is already monetized with 1,700 subscribers, but I want to double it. Or is there anything wrong maybe that I do? By the way, my channel is Rochelle Rosenberg. It's just easy to see if there's something maybe that I do.
So this is a fun one. It's a little bit more of like a channel review. And I got some advice for you, Rochelle, that I think is going to help other creators who are listening as well. And this isn't what you said exactly, but here's kind of like, if I'm going to rephrase your question a little bit, because you were way more polite than this. It was, Tim, I'm trying everything you're saying to do, and it's not working. What the heck? It's like, you're telling me to do this. Okay, I'm doing that. You're telling me I should consider that, and blah, blah, blah. And like, I feel like I'm doing it all, and it's still not working. What's going on? And I like those. I like when people ask me just that question, just like that. So what I did is actually look at your channel a little bit beforehand, and just to see like, okay, what's going on here? Is there really something unique or different? And so we answer this question, like, what are the secret tips, Tim, that you haven't shared yet? Because you got to be holding something back. There's got to be something here, like some magic that like you just never shared this tip before, and boom, it's going to unlock my channel growth, and I'm going to see explosive growth in subscribers and everything. Just tell me the secret sauce, okay? Well,
are you going to give her the URL? Are you going to give her the magic URL?
There's a secret button that nobody knows about. You got to type in the secret URL, And I'm just kidding. That doesn't exist. So I look at your channel a little bit, Rochelle, and a couple of ideas for you that I think will help benefit everyone here. First of all, looking at your channel, you might not like to hear this, but like we prefer to be helpful and truthful over like saying things that are unhelpful but make you feel better. Is that like a lot of the tips that we recommended, I didn't really see them being implemented. Some things a little bit, but not. I would say if you want growth, and if you think you're already implementing the tips that and the advice that we've shared, I'd say like let's maybe reconsider that, and we want to go back and reevaluate some of that. So, like the stuff that we've already recommended. And so when I look at your channel, one of the first things that I saw was like I was unsure what the channel was actually about. I see different topics about like art and faith, but there wasn't any clear value or reward or even kind of like a story, if it's like entertainment, like nothing that was really pitched to me that made me feel like, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to get if I subscribe and want to follow this channel. The thumbnails themselves you have custom thumbnails, which is good, but the design on them is relatively cluttered. There's a lot going on, especially on mobile. You have a lot of small text that would be really hard to read. And the visuals they're not like creating tension in the brain. They're not creating like, oh, what happens next? They're not answering any question that the viewer sees it is like, oh, I feel compelled to click on that. I need to like have that. I need to have some resolution now to the question that I now have now that I've seen that title and thumbnail. So there's not a whole lot of that going on. You're doing a lot of live streams, which is good, but live streams, the way you're doing them are typically best for community development. Same way that we're using them right here. Like the way that we are live streaming our podcast recordings, like this is great for the people who are in a really tight community who show up here, like in the garden and the blessings. Welcome to Chickenlandia. And we have Dan, DSW97. Like a lot of these people I see here, like every week, Lily Tree, Chelsea Express, Born 100 Years Too Late. Like a lot of these people are here and interacting all the time. So live streams are great for that community development. And we've got a few new people here too. Well, Godless Engineer became a channel member, as well as Kathy. And we got some super chats from like Stanley7 saying, I'm so busy growing, all thanks to Lennon. So I guess you did a session with him. So like that's what these are for. So Rochelle, like you use the live stream, use them for community development. They don't typically perform as well for discoverable because the main value of that content happens when it's live, not as much in the replay unless you do some of the things that we're trying to do and structure them to be as valuable as possible for both. The videos that you are publishing that you tend to be more discoverable, like I clicked on a few of them and you had like several seconds of just blank video at the beginning of a few of them before the video actually started. You got to eliminate that. You got to get right into the thing someone clicks expecting to get. And then when the video does start, it actually starts with like this long branded intro that really doesn't pitch too much of the value. It says some of the things like the topics you talk about and the things that are of interest to you, but it doesn't say, hey, this is why you should subscribe. If you subscribe, it's going to help solve this problem. It's going to give you this entertainment. It's going to help you overcome that. Like it's not like a reward benefit driven thing there. So I would eliminate that or definitely shorten it and make it revolve around pitching reward. And then the videos aren't consistently delivering that value to your target audience. Some of your videos are about removing wasps. Others are about like a worship service. And then others are you doing dance rehearsals. So like I would subscribe and I have no idea like what I'm going to get next or why I should care, what it's going to mean to me. So all of that to kind of boil it down and say the brand is just unclear. I don't know why as a first-time viewer I would feel compelled to subscribe because there's just too many confusing things happening. So I would say start with that. So go back to the like even Lennon, Delana, and myself, we've already kind of talked about some of these things even here today, which is who's the target audience. Drill in it, like really deeply understand and know that person. And then what's the value you intend to communicate to them? And then you got to work out how do I clearly communicate this is what my channel is all about. This is who it's for. This is who should care about it. And then every single video you publish needs to deliver on that thing 100% of the time to your audience, and starting with a good title and thumbnail and opening hook of your content. And by good, we mean it comes down to that tension that the title and thumbnail create for that viewer, and then causes them to click. And then that tension is expanded even further in the opening seconds, so that not only do they click, but now you've captured their attention and hold it through the rest of the content. We got a bunch of questions, but did anything pop out to you guys when you quickly looked at it that you want to share that I didn't cover?
I think that you really hit like the core of it, like the root issue is just clarifying what the message and what the core value is on this channel and what's going to make me subscribe and come back for more. But I think it's also, you know, once you figured that out, the next layer is kind of like, all right, now how do I actually deliver on this? And it's important to keep in mind that YouTube is paying attention to like three main things. In terms of discoverability, it's paying attention to a lot of things, but three main things. First one, whenever I put this video in front of a viewer, do they even click on it? So what is that? Titles and thumbnails, right? And then whenever the viewer, whoever does click on this video, do they like this content? What type of viewer are they? And then do they like this content? How long do they watch it? Do they watch it all the way through? Do they abandon it within the first 10 seconds? Blah, blah, blah. And that has everything to do with your audience retention. All of this you can see within your YouTube analytics. And then from there, YouTube's paying attention to, all right, where is this viewer going next? Because what's YouTube's goal? It's to keep viewers on the platform for as long as possible. And so is it continuing a viewer session time, whether that's through, do they want to watch more of this same creator's content? Do they watch, I don't know, Casey Neistat after watching this video? Do they abandon the platform and all those things? So I would make sure, all that to say, there were a few things that I saw in here if we're talking about titles and thumbnails. Like there's one video that the thumbnail kind of says like, you are essential on it, but then the title says wasps in our storage, which tells me it was probably like a little bit more of a vlog. And so just making sure that those two connect really well to actually, again, what Tim said, deliver on a clear value. And then you're connecting that title and thumbnail to the content. So the audience retention, how long the viewer stays on the video, and all of it is optimized to keep a viewer watching longer. So, yeah, and one thing that I would challenge you is it looks like you're relying a lot on text to try to communicate the value. And once you get clear on what that value is, not just on a channel level, but then also on an individual video level, then what I would challenge you to try to communicate that value visually before you communicate it through text. So what like pictures, images, facial expressions, things like that will help me to tell the viewer what this video is about before I even throw text on it. So try to communicate it that way first, and then just your text can be complementary.
Right. Cool.
And a hack for that is just ask a friend, send them the title and thumbnail and say, what do you think this video is about? What do you think you're going to get from this? Or you know, and then if you don't do that, then also just putting your title and thumbnail up against others. Like I suggest that often as well. Too easy. So like just copying and pasting it into a screenshot of a YouTube window and saying, is mine equal to these top performing videos? I think those two things can be really helpful. Cool.
Let's answer some questions from the chat here. We're going to do these in a lightning round, basically. So we had a few because we're running a long time. We got Stanley7. Thanks for the super chat. I already said thanks to Lennon. And then we got the Sabby BG Show. Say another super chat. You've helped me grow to 250,000 subs. Thanks. I started a new channel called Republic of Creators where I interview top YouTube creators. Excited things. Glad to help. Yeah. Hope that new channel works out well for you. Yeah.
Congrats.
So a couple questions from channel members. First of all, Fix This, Build That. Hey man, good to see you. Will ad rates go down on current 10+ minute videos as inventory goes up on all these other options? I don't think so. I don't think it'll fluctuate that much. But I don't really know. But the ad rate should stay the same. I don't think the ad rates change because inventory goes up in this regard. So I think there'll just be more mid-rolls across the platform, but my guess is that it won't impact ad rates. It shouldn't. So yeah. Born 100 years too late. What are the requirements for channel memberships? Is it still 10,000?
I looked it up. I think it's 30K.
Oh, 30K?
Yeah.
There's so many different requirements I have to like try to remember and keep track of now.
I know.
Yeah, and you need to make sure that your channel's not made for kids.
Oh, right. Yeah, because you can't collect information from them. Yeah, so minimum eligibility requirements is 30,000 subscribers. If you're a gaming channel, you must have more than 1,000 subscribers. Got to be in the partner program. You need to be over 18 years old, and can't be made for kids, and you can't have a significant number of ineligible videos, such as like videos that are made for kids or videos with music claims or copyright infringement, things like that. And there's some other things like if you're with an MCN and things, but the subscriber thing is 30K. And then even if you do have 30K, they're not rolling it out to everyone. Oh, that even says that here on the support page. Keep in mind, meeting the following does not mean you'll automatically get channel memberships. We're slowly rolling out this feature. Yeah, like my wife's channel has like 118,000 subscribers or something like that, and she doesn't have access to it. Which is fine. We don't plan on using it if we did, but it's not, you don't automatically get it. Born 100 years to, oh, that's the one we just answered. Never mind. Okay. Chelsea Express asks, should I use Google ads or Facebook ads for new videos? If Google ads are better, then should I run a Google ad for my news videos? If Facebook is better, will running an ad be good for my news channel? Let's just make that one real quick and say no. Right? Like just don't run ads for your new videos. People do it thinking that their problem is exposure, but your problem is not exposure. If your video, and I, again, don't want to sound mean, I'm just trying to help, is like if the video was good enough, YouTube would promote it to more people. If people were resonating with it on a strong enough level, it will grow on its own. And that's what we focus on here at Video Creators with our strategy and tactics is how do we help you strategically craft a brand and a channel and content that elicits human reactions from people that YouTube search and discovery systems really love. And running ads on it doesn't do that. It actually ends up being a waste of money. So I wouldn't do that. Lilytree asks, the auto place tends to put mid-roll. Okay, the auto placement, there we go. The auto placement tends to put mid-roll ads in strange places. And if they're putting ads in my old 8 to 10 minute videos, will I need to go through each of them to change the placement? If you want them in different places, then yes. If you just want to kind of leave well enough alone, you can just leave it there. I think YouTube's figuring out where to best place it based on user engagement, based on what they deem is happening in the content, where there might be a natural break, things like that. But you're right, their system doesn't always get it very right. The good thing is I don't think users really think like, oh, why did the creator put an ad right here? They're just like, come on, YouTube. So they're blaming YouTube, not you, if it's in a weird place, which is good, but I don't think you got to worry about it too much. I don't plan on going back and changing anything on my stuff. Karen, Tamir, I've removed mid-roll ads for all of my videos because I feel people drop out when they reach them. I'm worried to start mid-roll ads affecting my retention. What do we do? What do they do, Lennon or Delana?
I mean, if you're worried about it and you're seeing a drop-off because of it, then I would also consider removing it. If I understand the question correctly, it's a fear-based scenario where you're just afraid of what might happen. And what we were kind of saying earlier, I'm not sure if you were here, was that people are becoming a lot more accustomed to seeing ads. I know even for me, if I'm watching a video, it doesn't bother me at all that there's an ad. I'm so used to it that it's just a normalcy for me. So I wouldn't worry about it too much unless you're seeing it in the data.
Yeah, if you're seeing it in the data, I would test. I would test removing them for like maybe, okay, every other video that I upload, I'm not going to run mid-roll ads on. And then every other video that I upload, I will run ads on. So you're kind of like running both of them at the same time. That way it's getting tested over maybe different types of videos and different topics, slightly different viewers, stuff like that. And then you can start to gather data. But I would also ask yourself, like my first thought to that was like, it sounds like the viewer isn't engaged enough to wait for the ad to be over. You know what I'm saying? And so we want to optimize our videos to where even if an ad plays, the viewer's like, come on, get it out of the way. I need to see the rest of the video. That's the response that we want from them. And so the information or the story or whatever it be, maybe both, needs to be good. To me, it kind of comes back down to a content problem rather than, should I have ads in the middle of my video or not? Is my content engaging that the viewer wants to come back to it?
Yeah, just test it, see what happens. I was worried about that too. I used to have mid-rolls. So like 2 or 3 years ago, had them, it was disabled for the same reason, but I went and enabled them and it did not make any difference on my retention, on my channel growth or anything like that. So if you're worried about it, do it to a video or 3 and just keep an eye on them, see what happens. And then I think after that, my guess is you'll see that it doesn't really have as much of an impact anymore as it used to. A few years ago, it had pretty significant impact, but it doesn't seem to anymore. Woo! Well, let's put Delana on the spot. Do we have a quote of the day? We've been so far out of our normal rhythm with our podcast stuff. I just thought I'd blindsided her.
I thought of one.
Oh, wow, look at that. She's good.
It's one that I have personally kind of adapted, and it's going to sound so simple. You guys are going to be like, okay, but hear me out. I don't know who it's by either. You're going to have to Google it because Tim put me on the spot. But it is, do the thing, have the power. Have you ever heard that before?
No.
Do the thing, have the power. So like, just meaning, a lot of times we kind of get bogged down. Let's put it in YouTube growth terms, right? We get kind of bogged down by, okay, we're learning YouTube strategy and there's like all these things that we need to do, or maybe we need to go create a new video with a new structure and it just kind of feels a little bit daunting and we're just like, we keep procrastinating, blah, 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 blah. Well, if you do the thing, you have the power. Like once you just get that momentum going, you begin to take control of that creative endeavor or whatever it may be. And the same goes, it's something that I have, because I am such a procrastinator for working out. I mean, and I actually enjoy working out, which is kind of hilarious. But I will just like the thought of it just is so daunting to me. And so then I just tell myself, do the thing, have the power. And it's just like, as soon as I get started, you then put the power back in your hands rather than that thing having the power over you.
Yep. That's how Lennon was able to pull off 10 miles and 67 flights of stairs in one day.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So talk about exercise. This is how you exercise.
Talk about
I'll never
having
have to
power.
exercise again.
Flood your apartment. You're good to go for at least 2 days.
I didn't make it up. Maximalist minibus. That's a real quote. Yeah. Somebody said I thought you made it up.
In the Garden and the Blessings says Ralph Waldo Emerson. Does that ring a bell?
Oh, I don't know. I've heard so many people say it. I don't know.
Yeah, she says it was Ralph Waldo Emerson. So thank you, Ralph. Inspiration.
Thanks, Ralph.
And I'm going to do the thing and have the power to wrap this up. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. Always fun to see you guys, hang out with you here in the live stream. And also those of you guys who are in the podcast audience. I was told last week not to use the word audience anymore again. So I'm refraining, trying to.
This is a lifelong battle for Tim.
I know. It's part of our brand now. It's like, should I use it or not? Like, if I answered the question, it would be like, oh, sad that's over, I think, anyway. But I got to keep the people who hate it kind of like cringing, and I got people who love it kind of chuckling, So we'll see what happens with it eventually. Probably nothing. But in the meantime, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you guys all again next week for another Video Creators Podcast episode where we're not so professional when we end our podcast. See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.